Hello, ineffable being. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful, magical day. I want to tell you that you are a genius. You are special. You mean the world, and you are loved. Today, ineffable family, we're talking about spirituality, right? A couple days ago, I released a video talking about how to take spiritual teachers. On that video, I said, and a synopsis of that video, was then you have to find someone that resonates with you, right? Someone that makes sense, logical and emotional sense to you. And whoever's my cup of tea might not be your cup of tea, correct? Because let's take belief systems. In essence, what any spiritual speaker is sharing is their belief system. So what are the words? Let's take the B and let's take the S. BS. Where else do we hear these words used? Well, bullshit. So, on that video I said that whenever you are looking for a mentor, someone to guide you, it has to be someone that resonates with you, someone that is going to create you into the person that can stand alone. Because a lot of the times I find that in this space, a lot of people, they just give you breadcrumbs and breadcrumbs, so you're always coming back. A real spiritual teacher is going to give you what you need, share their experience, their wisdom, their insight, but first and foremost, give you the instruments so you can stand on your own. Independent if they die tomorrow or if there's no more books in the world, you're still going to be able to be free of the memories of the past and free of the anxieties and fears of the future. So today we're going to kind of continue that topic with Spirituality 101. And this was a video that was, Teal Swan motivated, pushed me into this video because she's someone that has, her childhood was very dark and something that, we wish on no one. And, she's been able to overcome that. But how? Going into the shadows, going into why she is the way she is, right? Which a lot of people don't want to look at. And what I got one day when I was listening to her video is a lot of us, we forget the physical dimension of life, right? We're like, we've been used for 20 or 30 years, we've been this robot and just doing everything through our body. And then, okay, we accept, that I have a mind and I have a heart and I can create imagination. And there's chemicals that I can consciously affect and all of these things. But we forget to talk about the physical side of spirituality. We think spirituality is just meditating, is just affirmations, mental affirmations, or imagination. But that is not the case. Spirituality is just not having conversations with whatever spirit that you want to be having conversations with, or whatever higher energy source you believe that you want to have conversations with or receive wisdom from. No. Spirituality is a two-sided coin. So for this, we have to understand what we are. We have to understand that we are physical and we're not physical. Yes, my physical dimension, my body, is three-dimensional, right? But we are a two-dimensional animal. We are a two-dimensional being. Why and how do I say this? Well, again, we are physical and we're not physical. This is spirituality. I made another video. I believe it's the same video that I mentioned earlier. Finding a spiritual teacher. But in that video, what I shared is, look, we are two dimensions. And part of spirituality is governing all of your physical self and everything that is not physical. The physical is really easy. It's your actions. It's how you treat people. It's your words. It's your responsibility. It's your habits. That's all easy because we can see it. But then we think that only meditation, only, consciousness is spirituality, but that's not the case. So I want to push you to remember along your journey, do all the meditation, do all the affirmations. If you like to channel, then channel. If you're into kundalini and chakras and investigating all of these things, by all means, go for it, right? But don't forget the physical aspect of spirituality. And that's really what I want to, hone in on this topic, is tell you that you can't just meditate and imagine and contemplate and feel good all day. That should be common sense now. That's your very first thing to do, is create the chemistry that's going to allow you to A, overcome the past, B, be free of the anxieties and fears of the future, and C, create in your present world the actions that are going to result in the life that you want. Again, spirituality is governing yourself, being able to create yourself in a way so you can be freed from the past, the future, and have the excess energy to create in your present world the actions that are going to result in what you want. This is everything spirituality is. A lot of people think money isn't spiritual. A lot of people think sex isn't spiritual. Or we can even talk about drugs, psychedelics, pot, all these things, even alcohol. Alcohol is called spirits. We're not going to get into that. I'm not really an expert in that topic. But the simple fact is that whenever you think you want to take a spiritual journey, don't just, forget about who you used to work, who you used to be. I am living through the heart. I don't believe until something presents itself that, oh, look, Fernando, you can do this better. I believe the routine that I have currently with my meditations, with my diet, with my finances, with my relationships, with people, partner, intimate partner, co-workers, family, relationship with time, all of these things, I believe I'm pretty comfortable, right? And I have my routine that works for me. Living through the heart for me means cultivating and elevating emotion to, again, be able to complete A, B, and C that I have shared twice already. So why is this so important? Well, I can look at myself in my journey when it started. I used to think that, oh, okay, so I just need to speak what I want. I just have to sit here and meditate and everything is going to fall in my lap. That was my vision of spirituality. And that's my motivation of creating this, because a great many of us might find us in the same place. Be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to meditate. I'm going to try to make myself feel good without actually consciously affecting my biochemistry, right? Because we have to create, equilibrium, and we have to create homeostasis in our life. But we're not just mental, nor are we just physical. So spirituality is connecting these two. Let's talk about Christ. We can say he was an amazing, well, let me digress, okay? So we talked about the physical things, right? But spirituality is also all the things that are not physical: imagination, thought, hormones, chemicals, all of these sort of things. So basically what we're saying here is integrate higher faculties. What are higher faculties? Well, I like to call them, everything that we consciously do. Consciousness, thinking, is internal conscious activity. So I can let my brain give me all my thoughts the rest of my life, or I can sing the song that I want to hear. Again, I can let my brain tell me, play a disc for the rest of my life, and my actions, I'm going to have to make decisions based on this disc. This is my life. Or I can sing the song that I want to hear. Again, with imagination, I can let my brain, my unconscious, present to me my imagination, right? In my dreams, in my waking day. This can all be done consciously. These are our higher faculties. So they can be involuntary, or they can be very conscious, involuntary, and intentional. So physical, it's pretty easy, right? We understand what we can do with this body, right? We don't have to go into that. Now, everything that's not physical, then we have to understand that it can either be A, autonomous, involuntary, or we can voluntarily decide to create in all these different dimensions. That is spirituality, accepting our higher faculties. And then the last part, again, we go back to the physical. Follow through with action. If you don't believe me, let's look at Christ. I'm not sure what religion you follow, and I'm not saying that Christ is, I'm not associating myself or putting him below or above anyone. He was an amazing human being, but, I was raised Catholic. I was raised, Christian. So, but now as an adult, I can look at his actions in his world and I can say, you know what? I believe. The Bible doesn't tell me how he used his higher faculties, but I believe if the story is a person, a being, having conversations with God, and God directing him to, move his people here and walk through the sea and turning, rice into wine or bread into wine, then I apologize again that I'm not an expert in the life of Jesus Christ, but it's clear to me that I believe he used his higher faculties, right? You couldn't just like snap a finger and make all these things happen. Now, again, I wasn't there. I don't follow his story to the T. But what I'm saying is Christ had to use his higher faculties to accomplish everything he did. But he didn't just meditate. He didn't just pray all day. He didn't just converse with God all day. Is that not true? What did he do? God gave him the instructions, and he physically went out there and did what he had to do. He didn't just meditate. He didn't just sit there and hope. No, he didn't drink the wine. He didn't just sit there and drink the wine that somehow he turned into, from bread to wine. No, he physically did the things. Up until his death, what did he do? He was living his life till the end, right? We could look at the Buddha, the same story. Once he woke up and started expressing his higher faculties, what did he do? He left his mansion, his palace, his servants, his good food. Why? Because his higher faculties kind of showed him, well, you know what? If you want to understand yourself the best, then you probably should let go of these things. And what did he do? He didn't just meditate all day. No, he physically went out there in the world and followed his higher faculties with action. That's why these people are remembered. That's why the Christ is number one. That's why the Buddha is number one in a certain group on the planet. We have so many other teachers, right? In India, now I'm just forgetting his name and I apologize, but there are so many gods and there's so many people that can be worshipped. But I'm not saying one is better than the other or one is less than any other. That's not what this channel is about. What I am showing you is these people accepted that they're two-dimensional, physical and not physical. They started living through their non-physical dimension and followed through with physical action. This is spirituality. It has been so and it will be so for the rest of time. And we can look back at the great teachers of our time and the answers are there. Ineffable being, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've received value from this content. Please share with me if you did receive value. And also, if you did not receive value, I'd like to read that also in the comments. Please put down what topics would you like for me to cover in the future. I hope to see you on the side of light. Please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Goodbye.